So the cookie data set is essentially the server pushing down small pieces of information to the client. It's typically used to track state or other details on the client side that's not persisted over to the server. When those cookies are pushed down to the client, they're going to have a name and they're going to have a path in which they were deployed from. Mm-hmm. And then our virtual users are going to make sure to keep the first and last time that they saw them. So what's great about the cookie data set is that the cookie names themselves can be pretty unique. And we can use that uniqueness as a means to pivot to identify any other websites that we're seeing deploying a cookie with that name.
With the same name.
Just like any of the other data sets that we have here, making that pivot to form connections. What's interesting about the cookies is the fact that our web crawlers maintain that session as well. And so as we're being, let's imagine that we visit a web page that is delivering malware and it's redirecting us through a number of websites before delivering us the final payload. What's really interesting about cookies is that if they deploy a cookie from the first web page and we get redirected and ultimately we get delivered other cookies throughout the redirection sequence, we'll be able to see that infrastructure as part of the domain column and then be able to correlate that with the unique cookie name that got deployed. So there's two avenues that we can explore here on cookies. One, the unique name, and two, the domain in which it came from. Because it's not always going to be the domain that you're searching for. In the case of PassiveTotal.org, we might have cases where we have ad providers or someone else that are pushing cookies as well, and we can identify overlap between, we're seeing double click here. So maybe PassiveTotal.org is running some ads of some sort or is part of that.
And if malware is dropping a particular cookie on several different places and it's the same cookie name, we can link that infrastructure together.
That's exactly right. And so from an analyst perspective, what we're looking for here is, again, time. We're looking for unique cookie names. We're looking for cases where cookies are all of a sudden appearing, where the first scene might be in the last couple of weeks. Whereas there haven't been any changes. Mm-hmm. We also know that cookies might go hand in hand with technology. And so seeing the indication of a particular cookie might indicate that the technology in the back end changed or the technology makeup in the front end changed in some form. So cookies, while not always as useful, can be powerful connection points, especially since we have observed cases where attackers will deploy their own cookie, like I said before, to determine whether or not they've delivered the malicious payload to you already, mm-hmm. and we can use that cookie against them. Essentially pivot on that and identify all the other malicious infrastructure that they used to deliver the same cookie value.